Hello, as you can see we're outside today. I'm going to show you how to make soap. That's why we're outside. You will need an accurate pair of scales that measures to about 1/10 of a gram. Some kind of vegetable oil. That's almond oil. It's there. I'm not going to show you who made it because then, you know, advertising. In this case I'm planning to make about 500 grams worth, or a bit more than that because of the thing, so I'm going to take about 80 ml of rainwater. The other substances dissolved in it will occupy the space that should be taken up by the sodium ions. Caustic soda. This is the most dangerous thing, you have to be very careful with it. Don't allow it to come in contact with metal, don't allow it to come in contact with your skin, don't allow it to come in contact with anything alive, basically. So use plastic for all of this. Plastic spoon, something to put the soap in, something to mix the water in with the caustic soda. First thing you do, you measure out the caustic soda. Now there should be, or exactly 137 grams of caustic soda to every 1,000 grams of vegetable oil, in this case because it's almond oil. Each oil has its own sap value. That's the amount of caustic soda you're supposed to put in. In this case 137 divided by 2 is 68.5. So we're aiming at 68.5 grams of caustic soda. Be very careful with this. There are the right quantity, that's 68 grams. Okay. Now it's important to add the caustic soda to the water and not the other way around, and do it slowly and stir constantly. This is because if you do it the other way around, it's liable to boil because it's a reaction that creates heat when it dissolves. So hopefully I shall stick you there and you'll be able to see it happening. Right. This is going to be getting hot. Right, next stage, measure out 500 grams of oil, almond oil. It doesn't have to be almond oil, but in this case it is. This is probably in fact about 500 grams of almond oil altogether. Nope, 402. Let's go and get some more. Right, so another lot of almond oil, definitely more than 100 ml left, 100 grams left over. So we'll go up to 500. It's safer to err on the side of more oil to caustic soda than it is the other way round. Now, the next stage is to introduce the caustic soda dissolved to the oil, and then to stir it in an irregular pattern so that it mixes up properly. Stirring this like that. It goes gloopy and it should very rapidly solidify. And know when you've done it, You have to do it for up to half an hour in some cases, and it looks like this one's going to take quite a long time. You know when you've done it because it starts to do what's called tracing. The thing about it is you mustn't just stir it round, because if you do that you're going to get pockets of caustic soda building up. That mustn't happen. So what I'm doing here is I'm gradually, in order to provide a fairly random distribution, going through the letters of the alphabet and seeing what happens. Okay, so this is a long and boring bit, and I'm going to turn you off. So you just keep stirring, stirring, and you notice that it's starting to change colour, it's starting to go yellow. Now, funnily enough, the last time I did this, it went hard very quickly. It's probably very hot at the moment as well in there. So you just keep going and going and going. I hope this is in focus. Oops, shouldn't have done that. Okay. So you can see that it's gradually changing colour, and it will gradually get thicker as well as the reaction takes place. What's happening is that the fat or oil, natural fats and oils, consist of two components. They consist of the fatty acid, which is a long chain and tends to push away from water because oil and water don't mix, and the other end you've got glycerol, which is glycerine and will remain in the oil, in the soap after it's made, unless you extract it. It was an interesting ploy on part of one soap manufacturer was to say that they left the glycerine in because in fact it's easier to leave the glycerine in than it is to take it out. Now eventually this will go hard. It's probably taking quite a long time. I'm going to say it takes about half an hour, and then I'm going to leave this as the mould for this. You eventually know what it's doing, because as you stir, eventually it starts to look sort of thick, and as you pick it up and trace it like this, it eventually starts to separate when you do that. So you get a sort of line of, you can distinguish between what you've poured in with the spoon and what you've left in the bowl or whatever you're stirring it with. Now it's started to trace. I'll show you what I mean. Leaning it over like that, you can see that the oil is going, well, first it's changed colour, secondly it's tracing. If you do that, you can see that it clears out. Also, if you trickle it, this probably isn't visible actually, it separates for a brief period and then goes back again. So you keep stirring it, keep stirring it, keep stirring it, and then eventually you find somewhere to put it where it won't be disturbed, which in this case is going to be on top of the piano. So there it is on top of the piano, not solid yet, moves around, but it will gradually solidify over the next few days or maybe a couple of weeks. It varies a lot according to the temperature, and it doesn't appear to be linear. It basically hardens a lot faster if it's a bit warmer. If it's cold, it hardens very slowly. So there you go.